something you've been putting off. Maybe you say, someday I'll do that, or when I have more time. Whether the item is a big bucket list item or something smaller like going on a hike, now is the time to start your Say Yes list. And we have the perfect process to help you turn these items into reality. Join thousands of others with our free Say Yes list template at thesayesexperience.com/list. It'll help you stop living in that someday and start making those list items come true today. So download it now at thesayesexperience.com/list. Welcome to the Say Yes Experience podcast, where we inspire you to get out of your comfort zone and into possibility. Our mission at the Say Yes Experience is to empower 10 million people to say yes. If you're new here, welcome. We're thrilled you're here. I'm Jessica Rector. I co-founded the Say Yes Experience with my then 9-year-old son Blaze, based off his idea to let's just say yes to things. I'm one of the top experts on burnout, and companies and conferences hire me to present on mental health, wellness, and burnout prevention. As the #1 best-selling author of 11 books, keynote speaker, and a burnout specialist, I've seen so much with our clients. The Say Yes Experience was started to help you really start living, to do the things that light you up, have more fun, and turn your dreams, or what we call Say Yes list items, into reality. So thank you for investing in yourself and being here. Now let's make it happen. Before her current Eras Tour, which is one of the most successful concert tours of all time, Taylor Swift had a special connection with our guest, Michael Wekall. While sitting in the middle of a college class, Michael had an idea: to get a hug from Taylor Swift. What started out as one video he posted led to a community, a movement, and a dream that was experienced by millions. Please help me welcome my guest today, Michael Wekall.
Hey there.
Thanks so much for being here. We are so excited to have you.
Glad to be here.
So you did something very fun and interesting, and something that millions and millions and millions of people would be very jealous and envious of. And you hug from Taylor Swift. So tell us how that all came about.
Yeah, so I was a senior in college, and I was sitting in class one day, and it was, man, I'm graduating this semester, and I need to do something with my career. I need to do something to kind of get noticed. I've always been involved in video production stuff. I loved it since I was a kid. And I was sitting in class, and it was this aha moment of, we should try to get a hug from Taylor Swift. And I went home, told my roommate, and I knew the second I told him that this was going to be a video journey of us trying to get a hug from Taylor Swift. And I knew the second I thought of it that it was going to work. I had this great mindset of just yes, this is going to 100% work. And we started off by filming a bunch of videos of ourselves doing dumb things. We started a bunch of social media pages and got the word out, emailing everybody, and just started off on this crazy, crazy adventure trying to get a hug from Taylor Swift.
Hey, Michael. So were you big Taylor Swift fans at that point? Where did even a hug from anyone, but where did the Taylor Swift aspect come in, unless you were super fans?
In all honesty, we weren't the biggest Taylor Swift fans. We liked her, but it was one of those things, this was 2010. So we kind of like to say it was the Wild West of social media. So everybody was trying out all these new things, and she was super active on YouTube and Twitter and Facebook and all these things. And we're man, she has this personality that's just she is so game to do fun, ridiculous things. She posts all these silly videos all the time. And it was just this. She's the absolute right person to go after. She was just super active. She just seemed like a really cool person who would be down for a silly idea, trying to get a hug from her. And it was just this kind of the perfect person to do it. I went to school at Auburn, so we were pretty close to Nashville where she was. So it was a little bit of, hey, we might know some people. I know some Nashville people. We might know enough people kind of get the word out and do those things. So it was kind of this perfect storm of a person of just she was, she wasn't the level that she is today, but at the same time, she just won Album of the Year. So she was, pretty big deal still.
She was hot. Yeah, she was hot back then. So once you had the idea, you told your roommate, he got on board. What were the steps in doing that? Because luckily it seems so big. It's talk about a big say yes. It seems so big, and it also involves someone else, Taylor herself, saying yes. right? So you had to get your roommate on board. He said yes. But so how did it kind of take shape after even the idea formed, your roommate got on board? Then what?
It was kind of twofold. It was both obviously the external kind of view of it, and it was sort of the internal thing. So I knew it was kind of like two things, basically. It was two beasts. The outward being, we're posting on social media all the time. We're making ridiculous videos of us practicing hugging people. And, we're doing all these things that are just so ridiculous on the outside, but at the back end, I mean, it was just hours and hours of tough work of just emailing anybody I could, messaging anybody on Twitter that I could, like just trying to find anybody and everybody. And then also like, hey, we might as well try to get on some radio stations, some TV stations, newspapers, you name it. I was back end emailing people constantly. And so it was this, I knew it was going to take a lot of work, and we didn't need to show the hard, boring work of it, but I knew, you can't have these just ideas and just throw it out there and it doesn't just happen. The universe just doesn't say, oh yeah, here you go, here's your hug. Like, it really does take a lot of hard effort. And I think, we hit it well that, it took up the last 3 months of my semester, or last 3 months of my senior year at Auburn. It was amazing that I graduated, honestly.
Now, next time, yeah, I think people just think a video out, or everyone thinks it's a brilliant idea. People flock to it, and it's like, oh my gosh. And then they try and replicate something like that and wonder why it doesn't work, right? Yeah. So you were sending out emails, you were doing work like that. So who were you trying to reach out to, thinking that maybe they knew her? What was the strategy behind that?
Yeah, that's a good question. We noticed that she had one of the guys that we really reached out to early. His name was Todd, and he had been doing a bunch of stuff with her, like on her tour. So he was like part of the production crew that like was filming all the behind the scenes stuff, a lot of like
nice
stuff that would pop its way onto YouTube. And the way I found out about him is he actually started following our group really early on. I was like, oh, who's this guy? Because we were kind of trying to keep track of who was following us. And I looked him up. I'm like, oh my gosh, this guy like literally directed our last music video. Like, I mean, he was very in with her. And I'm like, well, this is it. This is like one of the main people. And so I reached out to him, and I'd never heard from him until a couple months later when he actually ended up emailing us, hey, or he ended up calling me and telling me like, hey, you might want to be filming yourselves tomorrow. There's going to be a video that you're going to want to see. And it was just chaos from there. So,
okay, we got to lead up to that, because now I'm like, okay, we want the video. Like, how did it happen? Okay, so you were videoing these things, right? Creating videos, putting them out there. What kind of a response were you initially getting? Were you even more secure in like, this is going to work? Or were you getting backlash? Did you find yourself coming up against a lot more challenges and issues, feeling like you weren't making any headway? Because it's completely different having that idea than putting it into effect, saying, okay, no, I know this is going to work. Having to email all these people and not getting replies, right? Just by sheer numbers, there's going to be a lot of people that don't reply. So what kind of replies did you get? And then to keep your motivation up to keep doing it in that belief that it's going to happen.
Yeah, it initially it blew up on us. We got tons of followers right away. I mean, we were very receptive. I mean, we had people who you could tell were jealous because they said, oh, Taylor Swift doesn't like hugs. We're like, I mean, I was like, okay, great. Like, that makes me even more motivated to go get a hug from her, to like show this person wrong. I still remember that comment, 13 years later. So that one was definitely a motivator, which is funny. But at the same time, we had started at the end of January that year, and it took 2 months for us to hear from her. We had actually went on spring break, and at spring break, I talked to Ryan, who was the other guy, and we were like, it's not that we're out of ideas. It's that like at some point I was just starting to feel the like, like, is this not necessarily going anywhere? It's not that we were hitting brick walls. I mean, we were on radio stations, we were on local news. Like, I mean, we definitely got the word out. It's just we weren't necessarily hearing anything. And so we were starting to kind of hit that point of like, okay, we were just starting to like brainstorm of like, what can we do next? What's kind of that next evolution when then she reached out?
Because you can still get all the feedback. Everything's going well. People are following you. People are engaged. People are like, this is great. But you still need Taylor Swift on board with the idea in order for it to make it happen, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Because I mean, it can sound a little odd that we want to get a hug from Taylor Swift. So there's a little bit of that in the back of our heads and all of that. But it ended up working out swimmingly well.
Swimmingly well. So, I love it. All right. So you're at the point when you're like, oh, okay, something's got to give. Like, we're kind of, we still got to get her on board with the idea. We're on radio shows. We're doing our part. We're doing the work. Then what happened once you kind of hit that phase?
I mean, it felt like a bit of a brick wall. Like we weren't really getting responses. I was kind of reaching my limit of people I could email. Like I didn't know where else to really go. And I mean, the beauty of it was though, the people that I had been reaching out had heard about it and it had started to like, it was actually working, which was the great thing. We just didn't know it was working. So we started this group at the end of January, and she found out within a month of us starting the group that we wanted to do this. It took their team another month probably to organize some ideas and some thoughts around it, I would guess. And then at the end of March is when we found out. And she, that's when Todd, the guy that we had kind of been trying to really get hold of, had reached out to us and said, hey, just make sure you're recording yourself tomorrow. There's a video that she's going to post. You're going to want to watch it. And so it was this phenomenal video of her just loving everything that we were doing. She said, we're not going to give you these hugs so easily, so I want to challenge you to do some stuff. And it was just this mind blowing, like we did it. Like, I mean, I remember getting that call and I ran in my apartment to Ryan say, like, we're going to get our hug. We're going to get out. I mean, I just knew in that moment that it had succeeded. Like, it didn't matter. Like, as soon as she responded, I was like, that's it. I mean, we did it. Yeah. We accomplished it, even though we weren't getting the hug right away. But it became even better and bigger than we imagined it ever could have at that point.
And you also knew that she heard about it. She was somewhat on board with the idea to put together a video, right? And to say, okay, this is what you need to do. Here's the challenge. It's not going to be that easy. Because she probably knew that you were going to rise to that challenge, that occasion, because you've done all this stuff up and
we made this in the first place. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I can taste it. It's not stopping. Oh, so she was giving you that challenge of motivation. So what was that first challenge?
Yeah, so the first challenge was to help a little old lady cross the street. And it was a simple, like, good deed kind of thing. So we had a couple ideas right away, which was, hey, we think this will be easy to go help an old lady cross the street. We tried like multiple old ladies to try to help cross the street, and they wanted no help. They wanted nothing to do with us. And we're like, oh gosh, so maybe we should rethink this. So we ended up finding a lady who was like in her mid 80s. That used to be a professor at Auburn that one of our friends knew really well. And she's like, she will be game to be in any video that you want to be. And we're like,
I love it.
Her name was Miss Cannon. And we reached out to her and she was more than game. But we also had the idea we had so many fans at this point. We're like, hey, if you guys film videos of you helping old ladies cross the street, we'll totally put you into this video as well. We had just built this community along the way that was just this really cool, just natural thing that had grown alongside it, of just these people that were just loving everything we were doing. We were interacting with them throughout the whole thing and just sort of give back to them, to let them be in a video that Taylor Swift will then see, was just a really cool thing as well. So we ended up helping the little lady cross the street at Tumor's Corner, which is kind of the famous corner in Auburn. We had like 100+ people come. We had the mascot, Obby, help her all cross the street at Tumor's Corner. And it was a really fun experience. And Taylor was just absolutely blown away by it. And she kind of knew at that point, like, okay, these guys are like game to like really.
We're all in.
Yeah. We're all in.
Yeah. So what's great about some of the things that you're talking about, Michael, is we never know what the universe is doing behind. Like it's playing in our favor. And even though sometimes we can't see the results right there and then, doesn't mean that things aren't working on the back end to help us out. Just like you were saying there was so much work that you were doing on the back end, but then there were also things that you couldn't see working behind the scenes to making it work. And maybe Taylor just had to get to a certain place in what she was doing and in her world where then she could actively engage in that, right? Where someone had to talk to someone who had to talk to someone. And also she probably wanted to see, are these guys going to give up? Like, is this just going to be a one-time video, a one-week thing? And also watching how many people were getting on board with it and how many people were excited for it and cheering you on and saying, yes, yes. So she couldn't help but want to be a part of that. And then also, I love how you took that challenge and you didn't just rise to that challenge. You basically created a whole new level. What you and Ryan did by getting everybody else involved also goes to show your heart. Like, you're giving back. You want to say thanks to all those people who are following you, who are supporting you, because they don't have to. They could stop at any time, but you bring them into the story as well, because then they become part of that story. And that's important for them, right? Not just to follow you, but they're like,
yeah. And it's even 13 years to this day. Like, I still see pictures of wearing Hug from Taylor Swift people wearing Hug from Taylor Swift shirts at concerts. It is just, it still lives to this day. And I think that really is a testament to like the community we built and just sort of the fun, ridiculous idea that we came up with. So
ridiculous. Like, they love it, right? There's so much stress and pressure and seriousness going on in the world. They like fun and ridiculous. So I did the first challenge and she got it and she loved it. And she was like, she got it. You guys are up for anything. Then what happened? How did she respond? Do you want to start saying yes, but you just don't know where to start? And oftentimes when we don't know where to start, we just don't start. So we created an ebook just for you. We put together 101 ways to say yes. In this ebook, ideas big and small, things that only take a small amount of time, like 1 to 2 minutes. Whether you're saying yes to yourself, in your family, relationships, or pushing yourself lovingly outside of your comfort zone with adventures, it's all made to really help you become more of your rock star self. So you can get this ebook at thesayyesexperience.com/book, BOOK. So if you want to start saying yes, or maybe you need some ideas on how to say yes because you get so caught up in being busy and doing tasks and projects or doing laundry and cooking that the time flies by and you want to spend time with your family, but you just don't know how to say yes. Those ideas just don't come to you. We put it together to make it super, super easy for you. So go to thesayyesexperience.com/book to get your copy today and start saying yes now. Are you feeling overwhelmed, stressed, or burned out? We get it. You're not alone. In fact, according to our research, 79% of the workforce is in burnout and almost half are in extreme burnout. In fact, it's the number one reason why people are leaving organizations. They're burned out. They're looking for something more. They're looking for something better. But it doesn't have to be that way. We have your solution. It's called Blaze Your Brain to Extinguish Burnout. 52 keys to prevent, break through, and eliminate burnout. You can find your copy at justcorrector.com/store. Now, this is a great tool that you can use with yourself, with your colleagues, within your organization. Everyone can get one, and you can go through one a week with them. And at the end, you can say, what was something that worked this week? What was the success you had? So you can champion and encourage each other. You can also ask what were the challenges and issues that came up, so you can mastermind and brainstorm around those to keep those from coming up in the future. So make sure you get your copy at justcorrector.com/store. All books are autographed with a personal message just for you.
So she gave us another challenge, which was to do something with her lucky number, which is 13. So we decided to do 13 things with the number 13. And so we did a bunch of different things. So it was anything from some like good deed stuff. Like we donated food to a food bank, like 13, packets of whatever, we brought 13 roses to the little old lady we helped cross the street. We cleaned up trash on 13th Street. We found everything we could. But the kind of big thing that we did was Auburn has a really good aviation school. And we had a good friend who was in it. And he was like, if you can pay me for the gas, which is basically like $50, I'll fly you in this plane. And we flew over 13 cars spelling out the number 13. And it was just, yeah, it was crazy. And so we paid him $50 to do it. And it was like, this is the greatest $50. And it was just one of those like things to like top it off that just, it was beyond, it's still one of the best videos I've ever made. That whole like 10-minute challenge number 2 video is.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool. First of all, just flying in the plane's cool.
Oh yeah.
13 cars with 13. That is spelling out 13. That is incredible. And that you could get the cars to do it, whoever owns the cars, people on board to say, yeah, again, bringing in the community, bringing in the people to help them be a part of this bigger experience. Because although it started off, Michael, as an idea that you had, that you shared with your roommate, it actually became a movement. Do you think?
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. I absolutely did. I mean, the friends that helped us along the way, yeah, sure, Ryan and I were the face of this. But like I had a great friend from high school that helped build a website for us out of the blue, hugfromtaylorswift.com, that made it super legit. I mean, here it was, like I say, the Wild West of kind of the internet still a little bit. And here we are with like a pretty legit website. I mean, just countless things. Like we got connected with this kid who'd been through like a bunch of surgeries and we were able to like hang out with him a bunch of times after. I mean, we just like, there was just so many cool things that happened because of this and so many cool people we got to meet. So many great friendships that like all our friends at Auburn that helped us out. I mean, there was 10 to 15 of us that, beyond just the 2 of us that were the face of it, helping us out by the end. So
it became a village effort where because everybody wanted to see y'all succeed. Everybody wanted to see it happen. And they're like, you're going to be a part of it. So what happened when she got that video? Because that's an impressive video.
Yeah, so we got a video, challenge number 3, which we got a response video for her that said, hey, she was blown away by what we did. I mean, she couldn't believe we flew in a plane and all that stuff. And in the video, she was like, hey, I'm going to actually email you next week at a certain time and you need to be ready to go. And we're like, oh, all right, that's interesting. That's fascinating. So on the back end, her people,
mysterious,
the guy that we had sort of started reaching out to had actually come down with his film crew. We didn't know exactly what was going to happen. I mean, you could obviously predict something's about to happen, whether, we just didn't know. And so she ended up sending us an email at like 12:30 that day. And this was the end of April. So we're like at exam time. And she sent us this email that we needed to fill the Auburn University like auditorium at this hotel that had like 400 seats that we had to fill in 2 hours to sing karaoke of You Belong With Me. And I was like, oh my gosh, how are we going to do this? It's exam time. People are taking exams. Like we can't get enough people. And instantly we called all our friends that had been helping us out. And so we decided we should go to campus. We should just be ridiculous, get the word out. We had already put ourselves out there in ridiculous ways before. So whatever, it didn't matter. Like everyone knew who we were at that point. And
it's only 2 hours.
Yeah. So 2 hours to fill an auditorium, 400 people. And after the 2 hours was done, we ended up going to the auditorium. They ended up having to, we filled it and they ended up having to turn away like 400 or 500 people as well on top of it. Yep. So it succeeded very well. We got the word out very quick, which is awesome.
How did you get so many people in such a short period of time?
I mean, Auburn, thankfully, the way Auburn's campus is kind of set up is like, it's a very shockingly small campus. So like, it's very easy to get from one place to the other. I mean, you get to one end of the campus in 10 minutes. And so at this point, I mean, we are super well known at Auburn. So like anybody and everybody was like game to basically do it at this point. And so, I mean, we got like on the loudspeaker at like the student center. They let us get on there and like announce everything. Yeah, it was just, they let us do whatever we wanted to do. And so we filled up that auditorium and got to do the karaoke. And I mean, I can keep going and basically finish it, but basically we we're singing the karaoke and the video fuzzes out and it's Taylor on the screen. And she says, man, I really wish I could be there today. This is so cool, all this kind of stuff. And she's like, wait, I got an idea. And she stands up in the video, walks out, and out comes Taylor Swift. And she was there. Yep, she had flown down to Auburn. We got our hugs. It was the loudest scream I've ever heard in my life. I think my left eardrum felt like it popped in that moment. It was complete, utter chaos. And it was.
Okay, Michael, back up. So you're sitting there, you're doing karaoke, a video, like karaoke, you're done with karaoke. It's like, wait, I need slow replay of that.
Yep.
Slow replay. The screen comes down and she's on a video saying, hey, I wish I could be a great job. Oh, I love how you built it. Great job. I wish I could be there.
Yep.
And then the screen goes up.
So there was like a backstage behind it. So she had snuck in like through the crazy crowd of people that were outside the audience.
Oh my gosh.
She had like worn like a hoodie and everything in the video. You can see her like running into the building. It's pretty funny. But yeah, she had snuck in like backstage essentially and then came out and it was crazy. I mean, I just couldn't believe like she had actually taken time out of she was touring like her Fearless album. So I mean, she was on a huge tour. She took time to come down to Auburn and then she actually ended up bringing her whole band with her as well. They ended up playing like a few songs for us. It was nuts. And she actually ended up inviting Ryan and I to any one of her concerts to go backstage, front row, all of that stuff. And it was really cool. It actually ended up being that week, but it was crazy. I mean, it was nuts.
So when you see her walk out, what did you do?
I mean, you just kind of freeze because it's like, I've literally been like on this goal for 3 months now of like trying to get this hug and you're literally here. We had made these shirts a while back that said a hug from Taylor Swift and she came out with a shirt that said a hug for Ryan and Michael on it. So it was like this, like in the exact same font style and everything. I mean, it was just like, cannot believe what is happening right now. It was the most surreal day ever. And so, yeah. It was,
that gave me goosebumps that it's awesome that she was on board with the idea, but that she put the time and the effort into it, or her team put the time and the effort into it to create that shirt that said a hug for the two of you.
Yeah.
How cool is that? So how did you feel in the moment, not just seeing her, but seeing the shirt? Because you may have just thought, okay, she's not going to come out. Okay, that's fine. Okay, this is true.
Yes. It was just this like sense of like, man, it happened. Like, holy cow. Like 3 months ago, I just was sitting in class, distracted, thinking, hey, we should get a hug from Taylor Swift. And literally within 3 months, here she is standing in front of us, brought her baby with her. I mean, it was just this like out of body experience of like, I can believe it worked because we put in the hard work to make sure it did work. But at the same time, like, I can't believe it actually worked too. Like it was awesome.
This goes to show anything's possible. So did you take advantage of the tour tickets and go see her on tour?
Yeah. We actually ended up going that week. It was really cool. They ended up calling us that week and we're like, hey, Taylor wants like anybody that helped out to come to the concert as well. So we brought like 10 or 15 of our friends that had really helped out throughout the whole thing. And we thought they were going to be like off in like, like nosebleed seats or something like that.
Yeah.
Everybody got to go backstage. Everybody got to meet her. We all got to go on her tour bus. Her mom took us on tour of all of the backstage. We ended up all in the pit. We got to go to like her side stage. I mean, everybody got the experience because she wanted everybody to be able to come and just
experience. Oh my gosh.
Because they really saw how much effort it was.
Once in a lifetime experience. I mean, that like cool that's not even the best word to describe it. Just life-changing right there. So what did you learn throughout this experience? Because going from an idea to reality, especially a big one like that, right? Where you have to get someone else involved to say yes as well. And that you did it in such a short period of time. What did you learn, or what did you feel? What did you get out of that?
It was a couple things for sure. I mean, it was definitely not suppressing that idea. I think for years kind of after, like I would have an idea and I just wouldn't do it. But like in that moment, I knew like I just need to do this and I need to put myself out there and just at every opportunity, just be working on it essentially. And just all that hard work that it took to get there was super rewarding. It just, yeah, it was just a really hard working thing. I learned so much about myself. I learned a lot of like who I was, because here I am, a senior in college about to graduate. I wanted to get a job like doing video stuff. I ended up getting a job because of this, which was really cool. So it's just, it really set in me a work ethic of just like, of just hard work gets you places, and even I think back to, even if this didn't succeed, I still would have loved that time, because I not only got to hang out with my friends and do ridiculous things, we tried something. So many people, I think, get so paralyzed with creativity and fear and all these things, and they just don't do anything with it. They get caught in the normal rhythms, the normal whatever of life, and they end up just not doing those things. And we bucked that trend for us, and it succeeded wildly because of it, I think. And
also, it tells you a lot about yourself, what you're capable of. And it also just really reiterates that oftentimes we just think, as humans, we think so small. We don't put out those really super big ideas into the world. And what would happen if we did? What would happen if we pushed ourselves and set bigger goals, or, eradicated those limiting beliefs and that self-doubt, and just said, oh, I have this idea, and actually put the time and the effort and the energy into making that idea a reality?
Yeah.
It may not take 3 months. It may take 3 years, but it may take 3 weeks. But if you don't put in that time and the energy and effort, it's never going to be reality. So I think that's such a great lesson for us all to learn from you, that you can accomplish anything if you put your mind to it, right? And some work into it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to kind of fast forward to today, I was at a job for the last 10 years doing video production, and I loved it. I really did. But those last couple of years, I kind of let the doubts and the fears creep in, and it turned into burnout really quickly. And I got very burned out of doing video stuff. And I really thought, oh my gosh, I felt called to do this since I was a kid, basically. And here I am all of a sudden not feeling it anymore. And it took me kind of stepping out and going to another job that I realized I didn't want to do at all. And being at that job of like, I've been really thinking of starting my own business for a couple years now. Now that I'm kind of at this, I'm ready to do this. It's not that I was burned out of doing video. I was burned out doing video at the job that I was at. And I kind of just stepped out and did it again. And I'm living that right now for the first time in quite a while. And it's really fun, and it's really exciting, and it's really scary. And it's all those kind of butterfly feelings. And it might be on a way different scale now because I'm starting my own business versus trying to get a hug from Taylor Swift. But at the same time, like, it's cool. Like that energy is there.
Absolutely. And congratulations. That's big. I love it. Love it. And you might still hear about a hug from Taylor Swift, right? You still get emails or contact or stuff. No.
Podcast because of this. I mean, because I mean, it's awesome. It's so cool to see it take its new life, and especially with the tour that she's on now, being Eras tour. She's kind of celebrating all her different eras right now. I constantly get pictures of people saying, hey, I saw, like 3 or 4 Hug from Taylor Swift shirts tonight, or people sending me pictures of them wearing their shirts, to the concerts. And it's been a really cool, like, kind of new life to it. It's really ironic too, because it's been 13 years since we got the hug, which is Taylor's Lucky Number, which was still my favorite video that we made, about 13 things. And so it's just kind of this cool full circle thing this year of like celebrating 13 years since the hug, and just all this fun kind of stuff is coming back up again.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that inspiring story, Michael. I love it. And I hope you get so much inspiration from Michael's story on what you can do in your own life and how you can think bigger and create those dreams and turn them into reality. And as Michael says, not let that fear get in your way, and have those yes moments. And even if it starts with one idea, which everything does, when you started with one idea and take that action, put that effort and energy in it, you know what can happen. It can transform your life, just like it did for Michael and for the lives of so many other people that Michael got in his community. He went out there and created a ripple effect, and it all started with one idea. So what's your idea, your big say yes that you're going to start today? Have an amazing day. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye. Are you ready to move to your next level of rockstar greatness? CFO, Chief Fun Officer, #1 best-selling author, and keynote speaker Blaze Rector is ready to help you do that. At just 10 years old, he's already written 2 #1 best-selling books. Through the power of storytelling, he uses lessons learned and shares strategies, tips, tactics, and tools to inspire, empower, and motivate you to live a more amazing life. So if you're ready to do that in your own life, grab a copy of his #1 best-selling books at jessicarector.com/store. And when you order your copies, he will personally autograph them and write you a message on those books before shipping them out to you to really inspire and empower you in your life. These books are great for adults and kids alike. So if you're ready to move to your next level of rockstar greatness, make sure you grab your copy at jessicarector.com/store. Enjoy those amazing, empowering, transformational books. Did you know that the 2 biggest issues impacting the workforce are mental health and burnout? Well, we have your solution. The more that you feel burned out, the more it impacts your mental health. The more your mental health is impacted, the more it leads to burnout. So it's a vicious cycle that goes around and around, but it doesn't have to be that way. You can help them both if you're intentional and strategic with it. We have lots of resources for you at jessicarector.com/store. One that I want to highlight that really enhances your mental health is Tame Your Brain Game, 52 tips to turn negative thoughts into positive action. Now, research shows that 80% of your thoughts are negative. No matter how positive you feel, it's the pattern and the habit that you've developed over the course of years, over the course of decades. And that can often impact your life, how you show up, how you lead, how you communicate, how you engage, whether at work or at home. And then it also impacts a work environment. All you need is one NN or TT, negative Nancy or toxic Tim, to really impact that work environment. So if you are ready to enhance your mental health, get your copy of Tame Your Brain Game, 52 tips to turn negative thoughts into positive action today at jessicarector.com/store. All books are autographed with a personal message just for you. Thank you so much for being here. Check us out at thesayyesexperience.com. Our mission at the Say Yes Experience is to empower 10 million people to say yes. With your help in sharing our podcast, we can do that. Follow us on all social media at the Say Yes Experience and join our free community at facebook.com/groups/the Say Yes Experience. Thank you again to our guest. You can find all the contact information for our guest in the show notes. Thank you to our CFO, Chief Fun Officer, Blaze Rector, our business advisor, Lisa Verhurick, and to our team at Jessica Rector Enterprises. We look forward to connecting with you on the next episode. Have an amazing day and keep being a rock star.